All right, everyone, I should be live. By the way, actually, I should probably check my cam and mic here really quickly. Yes, it is using the correct microphone. Excellent. All right, we're going to be ridiculing Joe Biden today. And of course, now I'm live on Odyssey, I believe, so. Got to pause myself and mute myself over there. I will be paying attention to the chat on Odyssey, as usual. Twitch and YouTube chats will come through here on StreamYard. It doesn't do that with regards to the Odyssey, sadly. And actually, yeah, it's easier now. I've actually got an external monitor, a 4K monitor at the moment. So, I mean, I'm seeing a lot more than I saw before, and I think I can readjust it to make it even more efficient. By the way, we're near one Biden loser unit already. That's 300 people paying attention to his stream. Usually about 300 people care what he has to say. And those are the same 300 people, I'm sure, every time. Now, is my audio better than normal? For those of you who have joined the stream before, it should be somewhat better than it was prior. I'm just calibrating things. I've got a new setup. I've got an external keyboard, an external monitor. I'm going to be getting external speakers and stuff. I got tired of dealing with the old setup as it was. Okay, so people are saying that the audio is indeed better. That's because the computer's jet engine fans, Alienware 15, so it's a little on the loud side with that. That is now down below, actually. And so there's a fairly solid barrier between it and the actual microphone, which means that the audio should be considerably better than it normally is. Now I'm going to test Biden here, making sure that people can actually hear. So can you hear Joe Biden?
Good afternoon. I want to start by thanking the House committees for working hard this week to advance critical components of the economic plan.
Okay, people on Twitch and on YouTube can hear Biden. Okay, well, we'll restart that in a moment. I will be doing some super chats as well, because that is the lifeblood of making sure that I can afford caffeine. It's just the way that it is. Adherent of Lady Columbia Sticks, I am increasingly seeing people say the U.S. must adopt its own Caesarism or Balkanize. With all that is going on, besides the California election, why does such propaganda hold sway? Is it constant exposure like on Twitter? It's a small but shrieking group, a very tiny minority that is very vocal, that talks about Balkanization. It won't happen. If it were, it wouldn't work. They would just be handing China the world. And some of these people don't mind that. You see, they're so authoritarian, they think that China is actually like a good guy or something. Because you got to understand, they don't see criticism of China as much. The Western media doesn't dare do so because of its authoritarian rhetoric regarding corporations, and they're not going to see it from Chinese media because 99% of the time they've never seen it, and the other 1% of the time they're seeing fluff pieces. China is the enemy. It is the enemy of Western civilization. The concept of Balkanization is completely stupid. It's horseshit. Mark Zeppelin bought a signed copy of The Elfin Ship on eBay a while ago. Very comfy recommendation, Sticks. Yeah, it's one of the greatest works of all time. Blaylock is massively underrated. Yeah. Going through super chats. For those of you on Twitch, I do not yet have the Twitch bits or whatever they're called. I will be paying attention, however, as well to Odyssey because people can tip me on there through LBC as well. Greg Marat, has the Biden admin actually passed anything significant so far? Sorry, not from the U.S. No, they haven't. As far as legislation, no, Biden's done absolutely nothing. He passed a stimulus that fell short, and that was it. Everything else has been at the executive level because he doesn't have what Biden wants is to be a dictator. He wishes that the Senate would rubber stamp whatever he wants to do, but then people like Joe Manchin exist and the filibuster. Adherent of Lady Columbia, update on Michigan voter integrity. Michigan GOP is using a special law to bypass governor's signature via petition being put through a commission. It needs only under 400K signatures. Michiganers, get on it. Oh, I'll have to look that up. That sounds like a good story. If you can, DM me on Twitter or something with more details, and we'll see what we can do. Anything that bypasses Whitmer is a good thing. Geek Rican Z. Puerto Rico has fallen to fascism. The health department is doing executive orders that are unconstitutional. Yeah, join the club, and that's basically everywhere. By the way, to Jenny50 on Twitch, no, I do not have any mods. You may say whatever you want on my stream. I don't care what people say. I believe in total uninhibited free speech. The only caveat is, of course, Twitch can ban you maybe based on what you say, but I don't give a shit. Trues, thoughts on Biden OSHA vax requirement? Will it work? No, it's embattled and it's illegal. It'll fall through in the courts. And Biden, therefore, will have punted to the courts once again to take the issue off of his front burner and be able to do other things. He did it with the eviction moratorium. The whole thing was he knew it was unconstitutional. He punted it to the courts. And then he kind of revived it with the caveat that he said, well, I didn't command anyone to do anything. I just encouraged them. Yeah, you encouraged the CDC to do something you knew was unconstitutional. But he punted, and he didn't pay any repercussions for that. Ryan Colross needs some clank. Yeah, I don't have a spoon right now. I've got my normal citrus drink to prevent scurvy. That's all you got to do. Cold water and a lemon or a lime or both. And squeeze it into that fucking water and you won't get scurvy. Robert Manley. I watched the 60s Batman episode where the Penguin runs for mayor of Gotham City. His motto is don't confuse the voter with issues. I actually remember that. My dad used to be a big fan of like the old campy Batman from the 60s. You know, the one where, you know, anytime Batman hit someone, there was a little graphic that said like bam or pow or something like that. Very, very campy. I remember that episode actually more than most. It was very, very funny. Multi-happy hacker. I've been wondering, have you played Fallout 4 VR? A lot of things seem like they were made for VR. Yeah, I've heard actually, even though it wasn't developed for virtual reality, that one adapts really well. I haven't, though. I haven't used any virtual reality system. I may think about getting one for the next wave of gaming, because Fallout 5, I'm assuming they're going to optimize it for it since more and more people like VR. It does sound interesting. You can get some exercise doing it too. You know, because you're not just sitting down at your screen or anything like that. You're actually moving around playing the game. Yeah, immersion is nice. The Rambling Recollector. Any reading recommendations on Ethan Allen and his Green Mountain Boys? I don't think I've ever actually read anything about them beyond like history books. I can't imagine there are a huge number of stories about the Green Mountain Boys. Kind of a niche subject. Aaron R., $20, no comment, thank you. Cold Warrior, 666 watching, 155 likes. Come on, man. Yes, hit that like button. Let me totally sell out. Make sure to smash the share button. Hit that like button. Tell all of your friends about how great Clankdom is. You should do that anyway. You shouldn't have to be prompted, because of course it's quite great. Johnny Midas. Greetings from Malibu. This is for consistent quality content. Oh, you're in Malibu, so you're like, you know, sipping the tequila and stuff like that. I am jealous. It's a little bit, it's overcast today. It's not quite rainy. I hate it when it's overcast and cool, but it's not raining. Rainy day is fine, but don't be cloudy. Either be sunny or be rainy. Give me a break. Third man, opinion of the new Australia, US, UK alliance against China. That's mainly to sell armaments. That's basically Australia going back on an initial deal with France to buy diesel submarines and buying them instead from the US. That's all it is. It's all about money. It's horseshit too. It's you think the US under Biden is really standing up against China? No, it's not. Adherent of Lady Columbia. I'll put archived links to the story after the video, as well as the petition itself. Left Twitter 2 years ago. Fuck that site. Life has been better. Yeah, I think you say hasn't been better. Yeah, Twitter is a shit show. Yeah. Loyal Logic. You do need mods on Twitch, man. They will ban you for things chat says. I really don't give a shit. I don't care if I get banned from Twitch. I'm on the site. If people want to say crazy shit in the chat, well, at least they had a good time. Whatever. I'm on Odyssey and YouTube. Yeah, YouTube won't ban you for what you say in chat. I mean, for what people say in chat. Odyssey doesn't care. They won't ban you for hardly anything. So Twitch, I enjoy the site insofar as I'm branching out on it. I want to use it. I want to grow the audience there. but I'm not going to go out of my way to censor people. I'm certainly not going to do it, and I would never trust anyone else to moderate a stream. I just don't care. And I hear conflicting reports on whether you can actually be banned for what other people say on your streams on Twitch. Moose Codes, Moose from LA and Chicago, always watching. Can you tell us about your predictions for next year and what will happen with Biden and Trump? I think it'll be either Trump or DeSantis versus Biden, Kamala, or some dark horse Dem, and the Dems will lose. And I think that the Republicans are aware of this. I think they're going to get crushed in the midterms. Jeffrey Grunts, when are you going to do more garden updates from your new house? Yeah, when I get more work done in the garden. I did some planting. I've got the passion flowers out there, and it looks nice. It's covered in flowers, actually, at the moment. But I want to wait a little bit longer. I've got to do a little bit of weeding, a little bit of raking up of, it's getting towards autumn, so there's some dead leaves and stuff. I really need to trim the grapevines back because they're growing way faster than I expected. There are some healthy-ass grapevines. Trust me, you'll see the difference via the former garden update. Brian Bradley, any chance this Nicki Minaj incident could cause another high-profile celebs to start speaking out? This makes me hopeful we could win the culture war. Well, I mean, there is no culture war as far as that. It's Nicki Minaj's way of getting attention. She knows that if she puts a unpopular or sensitive opinion out there, that it will get more airtime, and then she'll sell more albums. She'll get more attention. Negative attention is good attention if you're an A-list celebrity. So she's just keeping up appearances. If she's really skilled, she could turn it into a man versus woman thing and talk down to people and say, well, you just hate my opinion because I'm a strong, empowered female with, hundreds of millions of dollars. Marty McGill, can you imagine being the deaf interpreter trying to unwind Biden's gibberish? Yes. They definitely earn their salary. Adam M., any update, opinion on the vaccine executive order? It's still unconstitutional. It'll get shot down by the courts. It's just a matter of the courts have been slowed down and are reluctant to take up cases. So, Sorearm69 on Twitch. Hi, Sticks, watching from the UK. Your written works are superb, currently on the grimoires. Well, thank you very much. By the way, and this is an update, Amazon is now in beta testing for hardcover releases. I'm not going to do that for most of my works. For most of the edited works, paperback will suffice. I am going to take my own authored full-length works, including the compilations, and attempt to make them into hardcover. So for those of you who are like, well, why isn't there a hardcover copy of this book? Oh, there will be. I just got to figure it out first. I'm assuming the format's totally different as far as the cover, so there's a learning curve involved, but I will be doing that. There's probably a cutoff for sales or interest or something. I'm sure that I'm at that level. The Rambling Recollector, favorite story from Greek mythology. Ooh, yeah, that's a little bit of a hard one. I don't know. I kind of like them all. I like Shakespeare's adaptations of some of it too. I just like it in general. Watch the Disney movie Hercules. I know that it's not actual canonical Greek mythology, but it's still an interesting movie. OD for life. Have you done homemade book releases? I've only worked with a brick and mortar publisher once. 3 other times I tried and failed because they're kind of sketchy. Trust me, mainline publishers are way harder than just using Amazon and potentially less lucrative, as I've seen in my bank account. I use POD through Amazon, Publishing on Demand. I realize that Amazon can be harmful in some ways, but they do a good job in allowing people to publish their own works, largely uninhibited. They've been considerably less censorious than almost any other mainline tech site. Debonair Nerd, do you have a favorite Norm Macdonald moment or joke? No, I'm not going to be like one of those people that pretended to be a huge fan of Norm Macdonald. I was too busy watching Carlin, Hicks, people like that, Artie Lang. I knew of him. I knew he was funny. I'd watched a few pieces from him. I'd be more likely to watch Sasso or something like that. Jeremiah Enos Hidayah Babib. Happy to see you live at this time. What a great way to end my night shift by listening to you ridicule and mock this absolute buffoon of a president. Yes, the ridicule begins in a couple of minutes here. Trues, how long till the anti-authoritarianism becomes mainstream? Seems the anti-C-19 restrictions got the ball rolling. Oh, it's already mainstream. Yeah, the kids are all right. You know, it's mostly young and very old people doing it too. Tommy Lee Wetner, clank, longtime follower, first time interaction. Would love to collaborate on some occult artwork with you on your fantastic works. Love and respect. If you can DM me on Twitter, potentially that could be the case. Because I mean, I do have an illustrator named Rita who's in Germany actually. But as far as like cover art and stuff like that, like I'd like to, yeah, it'd be nice to have, you know, something creative, work with different people that do illustrations. I worked with Eli Fusteris actually for Sickness and Hell's cover, and I believe Morbid Stories, if I remember correctly. Brian Francis, $4.99, no comment, thank you. Jacob Hill, I had massive bipolar episodes and nearly ruined everything. Started smoking again. Stop now, but still, sorry. Your vids helped. Thank you from New Zealand. Smoking tobacco or weed, either way, make sure to avoid mind-altering substances unless you're using them for spiritual purposes and you didn't hear that from me. Disclaimer, that's just a joke. Emily C., do you think vaccinated people will line up to get the booster shots or will they pass? Well, a lot of people got the first shot. Quite a few fewer people got the second. I think the third, you know, do the math, it'll be a minority of the population. Adam M., is there anyone else on YouTube or another platform that you would recommend watching? I really enjoy your content and try to pass it on to friends. Well, Razor Fist comes to mind. No, we're not the same person, even though that's a meme. H.A. Goodman, Matt and Blonde, Lauren Southern. There's a million people. Faith Goldie. Fucking just go on down the line. Anyone who's faced any form of censorship or ridicule from the main line, basically. So, take your pick. There's thousands of them. Gail Taylor, President calls Chairman Z. Milley calls General Chen. Other generals call other generals. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah, I talked about that this morning. There could have been some major problems with regards to what happened. Yes, Computing Forever would be definitely another individual who you should follow. All right, we're going to get to the Biden bullshit here after we get through a couple of Odyssey tips, actually, that we got. At that guy on Odyssey, clank. Thank you for the clank. Captain Murphy, my name is Styx, and I'm a stupid duty head. But you said duty head wrong. It's with a D, not a T. Just to be clear. Let's mind our grammar. It seems there are some people on Twitch that are confused as to this stream. Are we like, I don't know, trending on some Reddit page or some shit? Who knows? Anyway, let's get to some Joe Biden. It's time to ridicule Joe because he's easily ridiculed. Yes, Tiana's nudes. I do support Trump. I would vote for him in a heartbeat if he ran again. All right, we're getting to Biden here.
Good afternoon. I want to start by thanking the House committees for working hard this week to advance critical components of the economic plan that I've put before the Congress. I know we still have a long way to go, but I'm confident the Congress will deliver to my desk both the bipartisan physical infrastructure plan and the Build Back Better plan that I have proposed. And I've said many times before, I believe we're in an inflection.
Yeah, I guess there's some sort of joke about people rating on Twitch. I've only got a few thousand people following me on Twitch, so I don't know. I don't care either. That'd be funny as hell. You get on Twitch, big raid. Jesus Christ, there's less than 100 people watching on Twitch, so I don't know. I've got almost 500,000 subscribers on YouTube, so we'll watch Biden. We'll watch the real joke here, though.
One of those moments where the decisions we're about to make can literally change the trajectory of our nation for years and possibly decades to come. Each inflection point in this nation's history represents a fundamental choice. I believe that America at this moment is facing such a choice. And the choice is this: are we going to continue with an economy where the overwhelming share of the benefits go to big corporations and the very wealthy? Or are we going to take this moment right now to set this country on a new path?
He wants to set us on a new path. That's fine. You see, normally, though, you try to choose a new path when the old one sucks and you try to choose a better one. you don't end up on a new path and you're like, hey, this one goes right off a cliff. I'm sure that's a real big adventure. It sounds like a good time. It's basically what Biden's been doing economically. Donna K, thank you. You're my go-to channel. Oh, there's very few channels to go to that are better. That's what I'm talking about. Let's listen to Beijing Biden. I'm going to try to interrupt him a little bit less, even though like every 5 seconds he says something that I could make a sly comment on. James Willis, get yourself a shotgun for the zombie apocalypse. Yeah, I don't have a shotgun. I got mostly handguns and revolvers. I really like revolvers. I don't know. They're so great in every way, and they're really easy to maintain. You know, they look nice. Sort of classic. You know, every kid wants to be a cowboy. So, Moose Codes, what does sticks mean? Also, can you make some jokes about Biden and his crew? It makes me laugh really hard. Oh, don't worry. I'm sure that he's going to say weird shit over the course of the next 20 minutes. It's just that, I mean, I got super chats to read, tips on Odyssey, and so, you know, it takes a little bit of time. Captain Murphy, my penance for misspelling duty. Thank you for the extra 5 LBC. Adam M, DeSantis or Trump 2024? I'm loving DeSantis. I would take Trump if he runs. If he doesn't, DeSantis probably does. I'd vote for him. My biggest support would be for Rand Paul. I like Rand Paul. I would have voted for him in 2016 and initially did support him. Trump just happened to be better than, you know, certainly better than Hillary. Certainly better than most of the dross in the GOP field because he's not a diehard conservative. He's a business dem. People saying that he's a fascist or far right are completely not. They're nuts. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I would prefer Rand Paul, though. If Rand Paul runs, he has my vote instantaneously. If none of these people vote, like if it's Ted Cruz, I don't know that I'd vote. I know I'm not going to support the GOP just because, well, the Dems bad. Like that sounds exactly like the Orange Man bad horseshit. Well, the Dems are fucking up, so I got to vote for the Republican. Well, I mean, they got to give me someone worth voting for. DeSantis, I think I could vote for. Rand, I definitely vote for. Trump, I already seen his presidency. He did good. I'd vote for him. There aren't a lot of other Republicans, though, that I'd vote for. I'm not a Republican. I have a feeling that a lot of people on Twitch probably don't know that. They probably think that I'm far right because they read Rational Wiki or some shit. Adam M, I love Rand. Possible they run together. Yes, if Trump grabs him up as running mate, oh boy. That would be nuts. That would be a ticket I'd vote for. Alex Bogey, do you miss Joe's jab mandate speech? Can you do it? Oh, I think I already covered that one, actually. Lev Polyakov, sent a super chat earlier, but just wanted to add, wishing you a great rest of your day. Yeah, if I don't get to them, I'm sorry, but I've also got to focus on Biden, and things are going quickly here because we've actually got several hundred people on Twitch now watching. The Human Centipede, thoughts on how the California recall election turned out? I'm sad, but wasn't getting my hopes too high. I'll be moving to Arizona next year anyway, so oh well. Yeah, it wasn't a surprise that Newsom didn't get recalled. I would say that the threshold was well above the Republican partisans in the state, because that means California. That's good news number one. Good news number two is that they've already had to whirl it around. They've had to circle back around, as Jen Psaki would say, because now they're trying to blame Larry Elder. His existence, the problem. It's really funny. Tony Soprano, do you think Trump is a shill? No, I don't, actually. I would use the other word that you posted there, but I'm not sure that I'm allowed to do that on Twitch or YouTube, actually. Be careful. Yeah, 80 million votes. Biden is a really popular man. He struggles to get 20 people to listen to him speak. We're at, what would that be? We're at 7 Biden loser units right now. 300 people watching is a BLU. We got 1 BLU just on Twitch and then some. Isaac, keep it up. Absolutely. All right, back to Joe Biden.
One that invests in this nation.
I know I'm more interesting,
real
but
sustained economic growth and that benefits everyone, including working people and middle-class folks. That's something we haven't realized in this country for decades. The data, the data is absolutely clear.
Excuse me.
Over the past 40
so tens of millions of people are like, please have COVID. Please have COVID.
years.
I'm not one of them.
The wealthy have gotten wealthier, and too many corporations have lost their sense of responsibility to their workers, their communities, and the country.
Yes, apparently some people are saying that his continuous cough is evidence he might have a stroke. I don't know what that's about or if that's true or not. Maybe. And it wouldn't surprise me. He's pushing 80 years old. He's had aneurysms before. And to Emmanuel Goldstein, no, I will not stop interrupting. You think that people are watching this mainly for Biden? No, they're watching for the one-liners. Sticks, why are you a shitcoiner? There are no shitcoins. They're all interchangeable for the mainline coins like Bitcoin anyway. Robot 1337, I think you need professional help. Why would any good person wish another COVID? I clearly said that I wasn't one of them. I'm just saying that there are plenty of people out there who will. As George W., who is now beloved by liberals for some reason, would say, we've got too much politics of division and hate. Heh, man. People is divided and stuff. Used to be when they was divided, it was because I did an airstrike on a bunch of civilians over in Baghdad or something.
Okay.
Fucking idiot.
Let's look at the facts. CEOs used to make about 20 times the average worker in the company that they ran. Today, they make more than 350 times what the average worker in their corporation makes.
Biden definitely avoids telling people that the war on poverty literally caused that. Government interventionism screwing with wages and with the value of currency is why executives did better. Those executives bought Congress. Of course they're sheltered from the tax code. Clearly, though, this time more government will be the solution. You know, it failed for the last half century. This time it'll be fine, though. Give the government more power, guys. Moose codes. Dude, you don't have to read this one out loud. Ah, but I do. But you are definitely the man. Super happy I found your channel and will long time listen. You listen long time. Liam Sexton. Good thing I'm drunk because that's the only way I can listen to good old Beijing Biden. Greetings and salutations from Japan, Sticks. Oh, yeah, I'd love to see Japan. Tokyo, and you can get pizza from a vending machine and, you know, weird shit. Stumptown and down. Been following since your first entheogen, Satanism, and anti-Christian videos from way back. Love your vids and book, Occult Philosophy for the Modern Age. Jesus, that's 2010 or 2011. So thanks for the long-term support. G-Ski, you remember when Biden called a 7-year-old girl Little Blumpkin? He may have meant Little Pumpkin, in all honesty, with that one. I'm not going to jump down his throat for that one, even though he'd like to jump down her throat, I'm sure. He's done plenty of other creepy things that are more meaningful. Back to Joe Biden bloviating about economics that he doesn't understand.
Since the pandemic began, billionaires have seen their wealth go up by $1.8 trillion. That is, everyone was a billionaire before the pandemic began.
I fail to see the bad thing. The government, meanwhile, has seen its net worth go up by, you know, how many trillions? We need a wealth tax on the government. That'll solve the problem. Adam M. Sticks 2024. Thank you very much. I would never run for that office, though. Island Playa, please, Sticks, enable dark mode for your browser. It'll suit you. I have dark mode on most sites. This is on Odyssey, by the way. Captain Murphy, remember, we could be in a 5 years of President Hillary right now. Trump is a huge success for preventing that, if nothing else. Yeah, even if Trump drops dead tomorrow, he prevented Hillary from ever being president. Kudos to him.
The total accumulated wealth beyond the billions they already had has gone up by $1.8 trillion.
That's a lot of money.
Simply not fair. And how is it possible that 55 of the largest corporations in this country paid $0 in federal income taxes? They made over $40 billion in the year 2020, and they paid zero.
So to be clear, we're on a chat about the economy. And for the first couple of minutes, all he's done is whine about people who have actually succeeded despite the onerous taxation and regulation in the United States. People who succeeded because they bought off elements of the government, by the way. So he's complaining about socialism, not complaining about anything the free market caused. The Everyday Witch, do you think a train wreck of a president will make it through his entire first term? No, I believe he will resign or be 25th. I think it's quite clear he's got cognitive issues, probable health issues. People are losing their gumption to support him. Adherent of Lady Columbia. Sticks, if you're looking for a good game, Rise of Nations is a great early 2000s RTS where you can build nations and armies and fight up to 7 other AI opponents. Easy run on modern computers. Loads of mods. Easy. Oh, sounds pretty good. I like strategy games of all brands. Now I'm going to semi-ignore more super chats for a while because we got to get to Biden. We're half an hour into this. We're only 2.5 minutes into Biden. I know I'm more entertaining, but that's like watching paint dry is more entertaining. So fucking, I don't know that makes a big difference. So we'll watch some Biden. We'll let him make a fool of himself as always.
Think about that. $0 in federal taxes on $40 billion in profits. How is it possible that the wealthiest billionaires in the country can entirely escape paying income tax on what they've made? How is it possible for millionaires and billionaires that can pay a lower rate of tax than teachers, firefighters, or law enforcement officers? Here's the simple truth. For a long time, this economy has worked great for those at the very top. Ordinary, hardworking Americans, the people who built this country, have been basically cut out of the deal. And I've said this from the time I announced I was going to run. I believe this is a moment of potentially great change. This is our moment to deal working people back into the economy. This is our moment to prove the American people that their government works for them, not just for the big corporations and those at the very top. When I was...
It's time that the government stops working for my own donor class buddies, says Joe Biden. People need to have faith that despite literally every available tangible piece of evidence, I'm going to magically do a 180 and start working for them instead of the people that propped up my ailing asterisk administration campaign. Nikolai Romanov, B gets 25th. Kamala becomes prez. Appoint Hillary to vice. Kamala dies. Not causes, of course. And Hillary is finally president. That won't happen. Hillary's too old. She doesn't even care at this point. She's too busy looking like a dwarven wizard or something, walking along with her servitor husband. I mean, did you see that picture? This is a total aside. Did you see the picture of her on the beach with Bill? And she's got like this massive, low-slung, wide-brimmed hat. She looks like a dwarf sorceress from some multiplayer online game. And then Bill, he's got this look on his face. He looks like a zombie. It looks like he got risen from the grave by her as a form of servitor to be a bodyguard or something. I mean, it's a nuts. Almost became president, by the way. Alex Bogey, disagree with you about not impeaching Biden with enough votes. Best defense is good offense. Even the California recall was a Pyrrhic victory as Dems spent $200 million. Yeah, I mean, it's good. But the thing is, if you don't have enough votes and you impeach, then the Democrats gain more support. We saw this with Trump twice. It was a mistake to impeach Trump, and it'd be a mistake to impeach Biden, unless you've got the votes to remove him. To Human Centipede, surprised you didn't do a reaction live stream to Biden on Monday when he was in California and spoke to defend Newsom. Will you still do it? Also, you think Trump might choose Elder as a running mate in 24? I don't think he'd choose Elder. I think he'd be more likely to lean towards Cruz, Rand Paul, or DeSantis. Those would be the big three. And I didn't do that because it was at 5 p.m. Eastern, which is, 11 or 12 o'clock here. I'm in Amsterdam, for those of you that aren't aware. I'm not actually physically in the U.S. right now, so the time zones are different. Right here, it's like, at 1 or 2 o'clock or something. Kete, we should stimulate the economy with Andy's logs. That'd be more stimulating than what Biden's done so far. Pansophical Lighthouse, Sticks, when are you going to do a collab with Salty Cracker? Well, you'd have to ask me, but I'd be willing anytime. Adonis Adams, I was trying to find your version of the book Ceremonial Magic by weight, but for some reason I couldn't find it. Any reason why? I do not believe that I've edited Ceremonial Magic by weight. That's a longer work, profusely illustrated, if I remember correctly, and most of the newer editions are copyrighted. I can look into it, but I don't think I've edited that one yet. Along with Black Arts by Cavendish, but you can get it for free online. You can get a digital copy. Blaine Inagaki, I wouldn't want him to die of COVID or even the common cold, which they'd lie about being COVID. Yes, they would. It'd give them even more reason to push their idiotic unconstitutional mandates. Absolutely. Yeah. We'll get back to Trader Joe's here.
Sworn in as president, the nation was struggling to pull out of the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. Job growth was anemic, with just over 60,000 new jobs per month in the 3 months before I was sworn in. Then
Biden deftly avoids mentioning that millions and millions of jobs were created before that 3-month period because the main rebound happened right after the main lockdowns ended around the middle of last year when Trump was president and had to do with state level intervention. He keeps trying to fiddle with numbers, artificially limiting the statistics that he uses because there are lies, damned lies, and statistics. By the way, I have not disliked this stream, you'll notice, yet, because I have not watched enough of Biden to know whether I dislike what he has to say. I probably will, but, you know, give him a chance. He might be really, really funny just because he's so fucking demented. You never know.
We went to work and passed the American Rescue Plan back in March. And it worked. It's still working. Over the last 3 months, we've been creating on average 750,000 new jobs per month.
He leaves out the last month where it was 500,000 below expected. And of course doesn't tell people, yeah, by the way, we inflated the currency significantly and drove prices up 30-40% as a result. Whoops.
Our economy is growing at the fastest rate we've seen in nearly 40 years. Our recovery is unique in the world. We're the only developed country in the world whose economy is now bigger than it was before the pandemic. While this
Tony Soprano, liberal media. Milley had every reason to warn China about Trump's secret attack. What attack? Trump had no plans of warring with China. Made up BS. Yeah, it's made up. And it'll result in Milley being ousted, but he won't face any further repercussions. You'll see him in a year. He'll be on Raytheon's board or something like that because the military complex, one hand washes another. By the way, Eagles and cycling. Yeah, Commie Twitch will shut this great channel down shortly. Sad. I don't know about that. I keep hearing that Twitch shuts down channels based on what's in chat. I don't know. I don't know if that's actually part of the TOS. I didn't read anything about it. That's okay. I mean, if it happens, it happens. There's nothing to be. I mean, I can just go around the block anyway. What are they going to do? Oh my God. They got a new account. We can really tell it's the same person without, querying the IP. Nobody knows how to hide that, by the way. Absolutely not. Nobody has the technological capability. Shit, I used to do that on ICQ chat like fucking a decade ago. I used to fiddle around. I'd get banned. I'd jump the ban in 2 minutes. I'd come back. They'd ban me. I'd jump it again. I was calling in raids, doing crazy shit. I long for those days. I wish that they would screw with me. Adam M. Thoughts on school mask mandates K-12? They're ridiculous. No reasonable person thinks that they're necessary. By the way, to Moloch Pearl, no, I actually can't juggle. I don't even know if I could juggle 2 balls at the same time. That could be taken the wrong way. That'll end up a 4chan meme, probably. Jared, greetings from a PA-NJ interstate traveler. Do you think that the current admin will push for bans on interstate travel for the unvaxxed? I cannot get the vaccine. Recent cancer survivor. Much love. They might. You could probably try to sue. The thing is that I don't think it's likely that they'll try to do that. That would screw the economy so bad. Logan Orr, don't mind me, just a lumberjack on my way to clean up Andy's logs. Yes, remember everyone on Twitch, especially the Andy Six's logs of fucking shit slitting down your throat. It's a reason to survive. Eat his logs. Eat his poo-poo. Poo-poo stinky caca. I know this is. I mean, I'm looking at Joe Biden. I can't have a mental level any higher. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Stumptown and Down. Can you shout out my parents, Patty and Steve-O? Yes, hello, Patty and Steve-O. You have been officially shouted out because of your son. I am assuming son based on the picture. I don't want to misgender anyone. That'll get you banned on Twitch. That's for sure. I'm having a great time. By the way, these shows mostly banter. As opposed to nobody cares what Biden says, but I'm going to put him on anyway. Here, it's time to torture you all a little bit more.
This is all good news. I know many Americans are still struggling to make it through each and every day. For too many, it's harder and harder to pay the bills, food, gas, rent, healthcare. I get it.
I get it. We caused massive inflation and now you're all hurting. Please don't blame me. Blame the last guy.
Still a long way to go to get the economy where it needs to be. As I've said for a long time, coming out of this economic crisis as deep as the one we're in was never going to be easy. But we're doing it, and we can.
See, the problem is, like, if you're trying to get out a hole and someone gives you a shovel, you try to dig upwards and, step your way up. Instead, he's digging straight down. It's like, you know, you never dig down, Joe, especially in Minecraft or in U.S. politics. But yeah, he's doing it.
Continue to do it. COVID,
Come on, man.
supply chain issues.
COVID.
Bad actors seeking to profit off the pandemic are all contributing to the challenges we're facing. That's why I've made getting COVID under control my top priority from my first day as president. Everything from our public health to our economy depends on this. We've made enormous progress against the virus through the summer, and now we put ourselves in a strong position to battle this Delta variant. That's why the actions I proposed on vaccines last week are so critical. From requiring federal workers to get vaccinated, requiring healthcare workers to be vaccinated, requiring employers with over 100 employees to institute vaccine and/or test protocols, calling on for them to be able to know what their employees are doing before they walk through the door, calling for vaccine or test requirements to enter big venues, and a whole series of steps I propose to protect our kids in schools.
We're going to protect our kids in schools. From me, says Joe. We've got anti-sniffing guards in every classroom, just in case. Eric P., keep printing money and make bills that are full of monopoly money. Yeah, it'd be worth about as much after Biden gets through with the currency. Prices are up enormously. Try to get construction supplies, food, gas, everything. And Biden's first act as asterisk president was to attack the energy industry, to go after drilling leases, to go after Keystone XL, while allowing the Russians to build Nord Stream 2. This is his idea of a good economy. We're going to improve the economy. I'm going to double down on doing stupid shit.
Wall Street firms have analyzed the impact of these plans, and they're projecting that these new requirements will help 12 million more Americans get vaccinated, which will help more businesses stay open.
Fuck the Constitution and all that kind of stuff.
The data shows that the overwhelming majority of Americans agree with my proposal.
That is a lie.
Surprise, given that 76% of American adults have already gotten at least one shot. But we're facing a lot of pushback, especially from some of the Republican governors. The governors of Florida and Texas are doing everything they can to undermine the life-saving requirements that I proposed. And some of the same governors attacking me are in states with the strictest vaccine mandates for children attending school in the entire country. For example, in Mississippi, children are required to be vaccinated against measles, mumps, rubella, chickenpox, hepatitis B, polio, tetanus, and more.
So they're required to be vaccinated against diseases that are potential child killers. Well, one of these things is not like the other, Joe. COVID is not a largely suppressed disease that disproportionately kills people that are under 15 years of age. It mostly kills people your age, and it's now completely native. It's not controlled. It's not suppressed by any efforts. It's, considerably more contagious than the common cold at this point, these new variants, according to some people. Adam M., only thing that will fix this country is to minimize the federal government back to ideal and then rid ourselves of federal taxes. Economy will boom. Yeah, it'd be nice. I could do with just a major tax cut as opposed to the elimination of taxes. They should get rid of property taxes, though. Those are state level. Those should be done away with because they convert ownership into rental.
These are state requirements. But in the midst of a pandemic that has already taken over 660,000 lives, I proposed a requirement for COVID vaccines, and the governor of that state calls it, quote, a tyrannical type move.
Yes, Joe, because you're trying to prevent people who got vaccinated, who didn't get vaccinated, from partaking in public life. If your kid doesn't get the measles vaccine, it doesn't keep them from going to the grocery store.
Tyrannical type move? This is the worst kind of politics because it's putting the lives of citizens of their states, especially children, at risk. And I refuse to give into it.
I refuse to obey the Constitution.
We need to do. They're going to save lives. They'll protect our economic recovery as well and allow the economy to continue to grow. We're also going after the bad actors and pandemic.
Keep in mind that the economy is technically not growing if you look at inflation. The inflation is outpacing that growth to the point where there is no growth. It's completely imaginary. It's completely artificial. Oh, we've got more dollars in the economy. Too bad they're worth considerably less than they were even last month because we keep pumping. Harrison Bergeron, become so free, your very existence is an act of rebellion. Albert Camus. Yeah, that's a good idea. Also, we've got on Odyssey a comment by Kent Smellman. Please name one thing Biden has done right. I'm at a loss. I think there were a couple of things that I kind of haphazardly applauded him on at one point. What was it? He's like, oh yeah, his suggestion after Ida that we should invest in burying all of the lines in the country. So, you know, you have telephone poles and shit like that that are above the road. It would be cheaper long-term to bury them, like most developed countries have done. That's basically the only thing I can think of, though. That's not a unique suggestion. It's not like he originated that idea.
Pandemic profiteers in our economy. There's lots of evidence.
He is coughing and clearing his throat a lot.
But they haven't. We're taking a close look at that. Taxpayers in this country also have paid for extraordinary effort to keep our country going over the past year or so. Unlike the last administration, which resisted oversight and allowed taxpayers to be victimized by fraud, we're working hard to protect vulnerable Americans from having their identity stolen. As a consequence, their unemployment checks stolen as well.
We're still allowing Facebook to sell all their personal details to China, though. We don't want to get in the way of one of our major donors now, do we? Alex Bogey, did you hear about New Hampshire's succession bill? It won't work. New Hampshire doesn't need to secede from the Union because, of course, state laws are like 90% of the potential abuse, and libertarians are already taking over the state. They'd be better off fielding a couple senators and a governor and just cock-blocking all the authoritarians at the federal level. Adam M., speaking clearly today, dosage must have been adjusted. He's doing all right. But he keeps clearing his throat and coughing, and it's like, you know, must be a side effect of his Alzheimer's meds. Adonis Adams, when I asked you about high magic, you told me to buy all your collections and the Book of Ceremonial Magic by weight. So that's why I asked. Yes, but I don't have an edition of that book. You can just buy any other edition. Ceremonial Magic by A.E. Waite. Very good work. Same with Cavendish Black Arts. I don't have an edition of that either. Some guy from Maine. It's almost like the variant's a result of the vax. But what do I know? I'm just a dumb guy from the woods. Greetings from Maine to the Clankas. Maine, where you're not supposed to put ketchup in your baked beans there. I promise you I would not anyway. As long as they're made with bacon. Lehman Rus. Biden's denture noises are almost as grating as his gun control attempts. All these circus clowns need put in the trash already. Yeah, he's got some problems there. He's a little bit of a mouth breather, I think, at this point.
And we're going to offer organized criminal. We're going to go after organized criminals that defraud America or misuse COVID funds. Look, we're also taking a closer look at places in our economy where fewer and fewer corporate giants are controlling more and more of the marketplace in the areas they work.
Unless those companies happen to be my donors, then we're looking the other way.
Just look at agriculture and the food industry. A very small number of giant corporations now dominate the market, which gives them the ability to drive up prices because they face so little competition. As we work to build healthier competition in our economy and crack down on bad actors, the American Rescue Plan, which we passed in March, is still working to give hardworking Americans, hardworking people, some relief.
You'll remember that was the plan that initially earmarked some of the funds as race-based. This was shot down by the federal court system as being unconstitutional. Yeah, what a wonderful proposal, Joe. And by the way, you helped create the monopolies. Hey, there's too few companies are growing food. Quick, let's tax the farmers more. Shaqui Dogemeyer, reminder to not go to the rally tomorrow at the Capitol in the wonderful city of D.C. Yes, by the way, officially to all clankers, do not attend the rally that is scheduled tomorrow for D.C. It is a bad idea. There will be glowing ones there. There will be provocateurs. It is a trap. Do not attend. Trump, by the way, has told you this too. Do not attend the rally tomorrow. Should probably make another video in the morning for that. You know, just be like, yeah, if you're already in DC, just take the day off and stay in the Hilton, dude. Stay in the Trump Hotel there. Don't go outside. because you'll be used as cannon fodder. Crispy Tendies, Sticks, my man, glad you have been doing vids on Australia. It's gotten 10 times worse, especially in Victoria. Would appreciate your input. Clank. Oh, civil disobedience is a thing you don't hear about from me. Honk honk. Nickel dime. Apparently ice cream is used to help treat dementia. Really makes you think. Yeah, that's kind of a joke, but not entirely. Yeah. His ice cream habit is apparently well noted. Spell Madame. Gen Psaki offensive gender verbal microaggression. Well, our objective here is to be like Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. Damn it, Jen. Scout persons. Yeah, they eliminated the Boy Scouts, but the Girl Scouts still exist. It's slightly telling.
One of the best examples of that relief is the expansion of the child tax credit, which in effect is essentially a historic tax cut for families with children. Just yesterday, 39 million working moms and dads got their direct payment. That money is going to help cover groceries, the mortgage, new pairs of shoes, all the things that kids need. It's a tax cut for working.
We'll be able to put shoes on the feet of all the street urchins. See, the problem is, remember that tax cut already existed. He just moved it to the front end to be a monthly check instead of being an end-year write-off. This was Trump's idea. He's the one that passed the double child tax credit. Biden just decided to steal credit for it by making it front end. Sort of like the withdrawal from Afghanistan, which he additionally fucked up.
Families. So we're working to provide as much relief as we can right now to American families. But here's the truth. Yes, the pandemic has caused a lot of economic problems in the country. But the fact is our economy faced challenges long before this pandemic struck. Working people were struggling to make it long before the pandemic arrived. Big corporations and the very wealthy were doing very well before the pandemic. That's why I've said, starting back in my campaign for president.
Well, then he just admitted we were doing very well before the pandemic. Yeah, we were, exactly. The China virus created quite a few problems. We got a few Odyssey chats here. Again, by Kent Smellman. We need Hunter Biden to do something weird. The news cycle is too boring. And also, Biden is completely full of shit. Yes, he is. Full of more than that.
It's not enough to just build back. We have to build back better than before. And that's how it all begins. Big corporations and super wealthy have to start paying their fair share of taxes. It's long overdue.
I'm going to abuse my donors, says Biden. This time, I really mean it.
I'm not out to punish anyone. I'm a capitalist. If you can make $1 million or $1 billion, that's great.
I'm a capitalist. I just think that we should rob most of the money that you do make and use it to bomb people. Epic Man 004, rest in peace, Norm Macdonald, one of the funniest.
God bless you. All I'm asking is you pay your fair share. Pay.
You should voluntarily pay more than you actually owe out of the kindness of your heart, because that's the way that human beings actually work.
Your fair share.
Let me repeat it several times.
But that isn't happening now. Today in this country right now, the top 1%, for example.
I'm a capitalist. Let me tell you about why these billionaires are all a bunch of sleazebags. I hate them and want the government to take more of their money. That's what this section is boiling down to.
Evade an estimated $160 billion in taxes that they owe each year. Not new taxes, taxes that they owe. And the way it works is this. If you're a typical American, like I suspect most of the press people sitting in front of me here.
He thinks that the press people sitting in front of him are average Americans. Dude, some of those people make 7 figures. Most of them make at least 6. These are penthouse dwellers. They're not average Americans. It's been a long time since he was down there by the swamps down in Delaware, where I used to, over in Pittsburgh or Philadelphia, wherever he was from. Come on, man. We was in a 2-bedroom home, white trash family, and all the other platitudes that he heaps on himself. We was normal people eating chitlins every night. Yeah, average Americans. The average reporter with a White House press pass, by the way, allocated by Fox or CNN or something, is not making the average salary. They're making at least 2-3 times that, and that's for the less wealthy of them in the room. They've got the nice suits. They're doing just fine. That'd be like if I said, well, I'm basically an average American. Okay, my job entails I don't have to go anywhere and can work from another continent. I'm the average American. Yeah, so let me tell you about the tax code, Joe, the one that holds literally everyone in the working and middle class back, and you claim that you're going to make it better. I highly doubt that.
Pay your taxes. Why? Because you get a W-2 form. It comes in the mail every year.
Wow, Joe.
The IRS gets that information as well. Your taxes get deducted from your paycheck, and you pay what is owed beyond that.
Now he's trying to explain how taxes work, and it's still incoherent. Joey, $5, no comment, thank you.
That's why 99% of working people pay the taxes they owe. But that's not how it works for people with tens of millions of dollars. They play by a different set of rules.
Joe Biden hopes that you won't understand the difference between the kind of taxation that's applied to salaries and the kind that's applied to either capital gains or to net worth. That's like saying, well, you've got $10 million in net worth. We're going to tax it year after year. Yeah, but you already paid the tax on it. You already fucking bought it. You pay for maintaining it. You pay for literally everything else under the sun. Patrick, they never define what fair share means. Fair share means they want more money for them programs. Fair share means the government wants more money to bomb people. That's what it, and to buy votes. That's what it amounts to. They want more from everyone. And his tax plan, by the way, that's buried in the infrastructure bill, so-called, would raise taxes on literally everyone. The poor, the working class, the middle class, upper middle class, and the rich. He's not giving tax relief to the middle class. It's not going to happen. He's not paid by his donors to do that.
And they're often not employees themselves. So the IRS can't see what they make and can't.
The IRS is physically incapable of seeing your capital gains totals. Okay, Joe, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, you sold $10 million in property. The IRS is totally goddamn clueless and uses the honor system to deal with that. That's funny. I believe that Trump's been audited continuously for the last decade. How did that happen, Joe? How did they see that there was any discrepancy that could possibly cause that to happen?
Tell if they're cheating. That's how many of the top 1% get away with paying virtually nothing. It's estimated.
The top 1% cuts off at the low 7-figure level. Those people, if they're getting the salary, they're paying through the W-2, Joe. They're paying the same. They use the same tax forms. They just have an accountant do it. Jesse Martin, making 6 figures in California is like making 50K in Texas, and now it'll be 40K with his tax plan. Yeah, in some parts, especially, I mean, San Francisco making 6 figures is like being poor. You may $100,000 a year won't even buy you a subcompact 2-roomer. Like if this apartment were in San Francisco, it'd probably be $500,000 a year or some crazy shit. The housing shortage there is so shit. I mean, put a lot of money into making a house. It's got to have an earthquake-proof foundation. So I can kind of understand that, but then you go outside, there's a bunch of people pooping out in the alleyway.
By serious economists, that number is about $160 billion collectively owed each year that doesn't get paid. It's not an even playing field. My plan would help solve that. For example, it would give the IRS the resources it needs to keep up with the lawyers and accountants and the super wealthy.
In other words, he wants to rapidly and massively expand the IRS. He also wants to spy on bank accounts. He also wants to hire tens of thousands of new IRS members. Now, riddle me this. Is that kind of manpower necessary just for the super, super duper billionaire rich? Or is it because they just want to conduct more audits of people in the middle class? It's the latter. This isn't about money. The government has limitless money. It can print more anytime that it wants. This isn't about recouping tax losses or going after tax cheats. This is about punishing people for their political and social views that have stepped out of line. This is to attack new tech. This is to attack creators like me. This is to attack people like you if you have the wrong think opinions. And it'll spiral out of control if we allow it. Thankfully, it's subjugated to an infrastructure bill that probably won't pass because Joe Manchin exists. Thank goodness for him. Sihees, I will never lose hope. General Dumbass Milley sold this country out, and the man has the nerve to say that we have faith in him. His voters amaze me with their defense and praise of a traitor. Love your work. Yeah, it is treason. It seems like it's been treason. Ted Kaczynski, I haven't filed since 1995. Fuck the IRS. I get the reference. Plebe of Reason. What do you think of Razorfist's idea of electoral college at the state level so cities don't run entire states? That could work. That'd be an all right idea, I guess. Look into that.
It would ask just for 2 pieces of information from the banks of these folks. That amounts that come into their bank accounts and what amounts go out of their bank accounts.
Just 2 pieces of info. Literally everything. What else would be on the bank account statement other than what goes in and what goes out? What are you talking about, Joe? It's nuts. And if you think that this cuts off the evil 1%ers, dude, he's talking about cutting it off at $400K and won't give an aside for people that pay an enhanced self-employment penalty, small business owners, the married, and so forth. That's a lot of fucking people. That's way beyond the 1%. It's like the top 5% at one point, depending on how you calculate it.
So that the wealthy can no longer hide what they're making.
By the way, I'm officially allowed to downvote his video now because I've heard enough. I've gone more than halfway through it, and he hasn't said anything that's coherent yet. So, oh, that's right. I'd have to sign in. Fuck it. Who cares? I'll do that later.
And they can finally begin to pay their fair share of what they owe. That is tax.
I'm so totally healthy.
The wealthy finally beginning to pay what they owe.
Let's do push-ups behind the woodshed, fat. I'll beat your ass.
Oh, what the existing tax code calls for. Just like hardworking Americans do all over this country every tax day. Look, and like I said just a few minutes ago, 55 most profitable corporations in America pay 0 in federal income taxes.
I wish that everyone could pay no federal income taxes, then we could stop bombing orphans. It's not going to go to welfare or anything that's like good, at least subjectively. It's going to go towards more missiles and things like that. The Rambling Recollector, whenever he says pay your fair share, I picture some kind of highwayman holding someone at gunpoint. Yeah, that'd be a good political cartoon for any of you that are out there and into that stuff.
On what amounted to $40 billion in profit. Not a penny.
Thank goodness someone profited.
That's not right. My economic plan will change that. Not punish anybody, just make them pay their fair share. But my Republican friends in Congress don't want to change the law. So what are they doing? They're attacking me and my plan, which is fine. But if you're going to have a debate, let's have an honest debate.
If we're going to have an honest debate, first you'd have to be honest, Joe. Dimka, Biden talking about press cosmopolitans being average Americans reminds me of that time John McCain said making $5 million a year was middle class. Yeah, they've got some weird beliefs with regards to what middle class, working class, wealth, and lack of wealth actually mean. The White House press corps are people that by and large, or at least they're in the upper middle class at least. They may not be rich, like, you know, they're not billionaires, but they certainly make 6 figures in general. They certainly have nice homes, sometimes penthouses. They have the suits and stuff like that. They're not living the way that someone who fixes cars is generally living. Barking, will he and Nancy pay their fair share? Yeah, that's not what it's about. Yeah, Nancy Pelosi's worth, what, $100 million or something? Why doesn't she be more charitable? Liquidate your assets.
Plan saying it's big spending. Let me remind you, these are the same folks who just 4 years ago passed the Trump tax cut.
Okay, now he's going to ridicule the Trump tax cut. As an anecdote here, remember, I am not rich. I make a living. I'm making a good amount of money, but I'm not rich. I don't have a penthouse. I'm not Hassan Piker or something. I'm not a leftoid. I'm not the okay boomer girl living in a $10 million apartment. The Trump tax cut significantly lowered my taxes. I saved, what, $3,000-$4,000 or something like that. This was the case for the average middle classer, the average working classer, and the average upper middle classer. It can't save taxes for the very poor because they don't pay taxes. It can't save taxes on the rich because their taxes didn't really change in general, other than the capital gains rate. That's a different story. As far as normal nominal taxes, it mainly was aimed at the middle class. He and others have consistently lied to the American public saying it was the tax cuts for the rich. It was the tax cuts for the super wealthy. And then some people say, well, they're not permanent. They phase out and actually the tax rate ends up higher. That's because they were meant to be extended. Biden's not talking about extending them. So just by letting those lapse, automatically you're going to have higher taxes, even if he doesn't change anything further. But I will tell you, there is one tax cut that Joe Biden actually has offered. It's the unlimited salt reduction relapse. What Trump did in his tax code is he capped the salt deduction, state and local taxes. Normally what this means is that if you're making a lot of money and you're in a state that's very high tax or the locality is very high cost of living, you can write some of that off of your federal because it's so far above the median amount that you'd be taxed. Trump capped this at $10,000, which meant that until you're in the mid six-figure range, you're not going to be, beyond that, you won't be able to write it off because you're rich anyway. And so Trump screwed actually the super wealthy. Trump wants to restore it. This will mean billions and billions and billions of dollars saved by rich individuals in blue states. That's the only tax cut that Biden has actually fomented that wasn't lifted from Trump to begin with, like the child tax credit that he simply moved to front end in order to make it seem like it was a new idea. Really, it's the same exact thing that Trump already passed. Lucas Supan, plan to get 500K? Have live streams helped? Yes, they seem to. Ian Angel, does Biden have a corn kernel stuck in his throat from a hot, steamy log he had for breakfast? Lol, I'm totally lost on what he's even talking about. He's about to ridicule Trump's tax reduction and say that it was for the rich.
Totaling almost $2 trillion in tax cuts.
Come on, man.
A giant giveaway to the largest corporations in the top 1%.
What did I say?
And listen to this. Almost none of that $2 trillion tax cut was paid for. It just ballooned the federal deficit.
Like, do you think that Biden cares about the deficit? Nobody cares about the deficit unless the other party is in charge. The Republicans didn't give a shit till your asterisk administration ass was in there. And the Democrats don't care. As soon as Trump left, the deficit's fine, and he'll stop talking about it when the infrastructure deal dies. Jose Contreras, have you heard of the domestic discipline community? They're a BDSM offshoot. I just found out about the other day. If so, what do you think of them? I don't do BDSM stuff. I don't care what other people do. P. Oki, 99 cents. No comment. Thank you.
In fact, the unpaid bills racked up by the last administration are projected to increase the national debt by more than $8 trillion over time.
Did he care about that when it was Obama doing that?
What I'm proposing is totally different from that approach for three reasons. First, my plan is paid for. It's fiscally responsible.
Where's that pay come from? Where did the money magically materialize to pay for 3.5 trillion plus tax hikes? Oh, that's right. The tax hikes pay for it. There we go. They're tax hikes on the middle class, dude. Coming from the super wealthy.
Because our investments are paid for by making sure that corporations, wealthy Americans pay their fair share. Second, we're not going to raise taxes on anyone making under $400,000. That's a lot of money.
Okay, again, he's repeating a lie that's already been debunked, including by Biden himself. He made it clear that that cutoff only applies to single earners. Doesn't apply to self-employment. We pay a 15% penalty, by the way, up to the first 100K. So it's a lot of money. We pay more taxes than normal salaried workers. Doesn't apply to married couples. Doesn't apply to other forms of income. That's millions and millions of fucking people, Joe. No, you just lied straight up again. Bubbles for the win. Who's taking credit for organizing tomorrow's events, i.e. whose BS did the poor saps dedicated to attending buy into, not counting the crisis actors? Yes, do not go to DC tomorrow. Do not bother. It's probably some sort of trap, and if not enough people attend, then it'll just fall through and nobody will give a shit. But Trump has already called it out too. Jose Alba, General Milley, white monkey for China. As the Manchurian doofus. Phil Scott, you're hurting my bottom line, Sticks.
Some of my liberal friends are saying it should be lower than that. But only corporations and people making over $400,000 a year are going to pay any additional tax.
Bullshit.
And third, not only will no one making under $400,000 see their taxes go up, the middle class are going to get some tax cuts.
No, they won't.
Breaks.
What tax breaks for the middle class are actually in the bill? Well, you can't read about it because you're just not allowed to read the text of the bill. I'm sure that's by the way, that's usually a really great sign, isn't it? Wile E. Coyote, Sticks, love the timing of your regular segments when you're in the Netherlands. Fresh coffee and fresh sticks before work. Clank. Yeah, I already had my energy drinks. I've got a whole fucking army behind me.
My plan benefits ordinary Americans, not those at the top who don't need the help. It's a historic middle-class tax cut, cutting taxes for over 50 million families. My Republican friends are making a different choice, though. They'd rather protect the tax breaks of those at the very top than give tax breaks to working families. It's that simple. But let me ask you this. Where is it written? All the tax.
By the way, I think there was an attempted raid on Twitch or something, like Mephistopheles there. MAGA chuds are so easy to trigger. I haven't been paying much attention. Who's triggered? I mean, I'm not even sure. One thing I think maybe is it a joke about raids on Twitch or something? Like, is it a self-satire or a satire of leftoids attempting to organize for raiding purposes? I genuinely don't know because I haven't been on Twitch much, so I'm not even sure. Oh, I guess Blood Fart there was talking to him. Okay, so one person responded to you that's being triggered. Lame, dude. I used to get more than 300 people onto ICQ chat rooms very, very easily and regularly, just for the purposes of my own amusement. I'm kind of glad that I'm out of touch with Twitch culture. You know, being on a place that's kind of new is more exciting. Like, you know, it's another step in content creation, and the whole point is just to do live streams and shitpost anyway. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm live shitposting, just reacting to Biden. It's just low-hanging fruit because it's easy to do that. Anthony Fauci, I know how to poke away at your freedoms. He sticks his cock in a beehive fairly regularly. The trolls have arrived here. You've been noticed. Excellent. I'm among my people then. That'll make it more fun.
Go to corporations.
Thank God.
In the very top. I think it's enough. I'm tired of it. For me, it's pretty simple.
I'm tired of people disagreeing with me, says Joe Biden.
It's about time.
Stop it.
Got the tax breaks in this country. That's what my plan does.
Yeah. To Lars Larson, by the way, I'm aware this is not live, but I am doing a live reaction. I'm live, as you can see, on 3 sites at the moment. Should I buy more Harmony One crypto? Can't give any advice with regards to crypto purchases for legal reasons. I'm bullish on crypto still, though. I hold a great deal of it, including a lot of Bitcoin.
It also does. By asking big corporations and very wealthy to pay their fair share, it makes it possible to invest in America.
Please pay more money to the government.
American people.
We'll pay forward instead of bombing people.
Forecasters like Moody's and major international financial institutions. My plan will create jobs, make us more competitive, and grow our economy and lessen, not increase, inflationary pressure.
So in other words, spending trillions of dollars now magically decreases inflation. To be clear what Biden actually believes. Probably he takes it seriously. Somebody probably told him that, oh, Mr. President, sign off on this is a great deal. And he didn't even read it because it's thousands of pages. And he just said, oh, great. Just tell me what to tell people. Starquake, poo-poo, pee-pee. Much more intelligent than what we've heard from Biden today. The rambling recollector, pay your fair share, you scallywag. Think of your fellow man, says the sleepy pirate. Joshua Moore, they would love for tomorrow to become violent. I wonder what they would use to either mask or push. Well, there'll be leftoids there in masks, and there'll be glowing ones, you know. Crypto, thanks for the plug sticks. Looking good looking out. Yeah, do not go to the DC rally tomorrow. Just like I told people not to go to January 6th because it would inevitably end in problems, don't go to the September 18th rally. That's not the way to deal with things. Organize locally. Don't go. Rallies in DC are a shitty idea at the moment anyway. Don't give them the time of day. Organize locally, bill it, picket, go on to local radio shows, make shit posts online, make little posters and stuff like that. Organize locally among people that you actually know so that you know that there's no infiltrators.
I don't know if it's been handed out today, but by the way, 15 Nobel laureates in economics released a letter yesterday arguing that exact same point. They said, and I quote, and this is from 15 Nobel laureates in economics, quote,
If economists knew it was going to happen, they would be billionaires, though, Joe. They're losers. It's just like Krugman there when he said that a Great Depression would start if Trump was elected. And then he said, well, we're going to be in an economic boom if Biden's elected. Oh, boy. So he's 0 for 2. Horowitz, Feinberg, and Horowitz. You are a mad lad, Sticks. It is entirely too early over here to be streaming. Over here, though, in the Netherlands, it is actually the mid-afternoon. Travis Bird, what do you think of so-called libertarians who call for government-forced vaccination? I think they're not actually libertarians. They are very, very confused individuals. Josh in Jesus, are you ever moving back to the States? Yeah, I'll be making my way back to the States. I can go between 2 continents at a whim. I need nobody's permission, which I think is fucking great. Freedom of movement's pretty cool.
Because this agenda, the one I'm talking about, mine, because this agenda invests in long-term economic capacity and will enhance the ability of more Americans to participate productively in the economy. It will ease long-term inflationary pressures.
No, it won't. More Americans will be able to flip burgers because of my plan. Yay!
It will ease it. Let me highlight just a few provisions of my plan. I know this is long, and I apologize for this.
Yeah, at this point, I don't even want to hear about his fucking plan. Fuck this. I've already listened to enough Biden. 17 minutes of Joe Biden is plenty, comprising about a fourth of all of the time that we've been on here. I think the super chats are more entertaining. We could do a whole daily show just reacting to Biden and similar people. I still want to do a reaction to a Trump event at some point. That'd be a little bit more interesting. Baron von Blair, sun's rising, time to pump the poo-poo for more Floki Inu. El Presidente, did you hear about Biden's family owning slaves? That's a lot of families back then. That has nothing to do with Biden. I'm more interested in the slaves that Hillary Clinton's foreign policy in Libya created. Chris Cole, Biden, the potato that keeps on giving to Clankdom. Yeah, and then Brian Stelter occasionally. Keep in mind that dude's only 40. The Brian Madigan, hey Sticks, Manly 2021 NRL premieres. Go Manly, Tommy Turbo is the GOAT. Cool stuff. Josh and Jesus, I know with April Moss, would you interview her? I don't really do interviews as much because I'm not great at interviewing people, in all honesty. I'm mediocre when it comes to doing that. I'm better at being prompted and answering other people's questions. I'm better if people interview me. Alex Bogey, why do you think Woodward revealed that Glenn Milley phone call? Is it just to sell his book, or is it a way to distract and or make Milley the fall guy? No, I think they're trying to cast more shade on Trump, but it doesn't really work. Instead, it's like, oh yeah, this general committed treason, but it's okay because he was trying to stop Orange Man. SJ Shady 0169, hey Sticks, thoughts on possible New Hampshire succession? It won't happen. Yeah, anyway, that's enough of the fucking Joe Biden thing. We've got a few on Odyssey. From InfoTunes, BLU, Biden loser units will be the next crypto, guaranteed to depreciate in value. Star EXE 701, I'm on Odyssey's live stream, but why wouldn't they call this journey as an Odyssey is a journey story? It's probably taken, journey.com or whatever. Horny Moose Knuckles, is it me or do any of my fellow soldiers pulled the shit Milley did? We would be charged with treason and shot. Milley is a commie desk jockey pretending to be an officer. Yeah, he's probably one of those dudes that just he went to West Point and never actually had to serve or anything. Anyway, we're going to end this. Josh and Jesus, yeah, I mean have April interview you. Oh, that'd be fine. Yeah, have her contact me on Twitter, actually, to set something up maybe. All right, so we're going to go offline. We're running up on an hour 20. I had expected to go a little bit more through it, but there were a lot of super chats to run through and a lot of thoughts that I have about Joe Biden's nuts, his nuttiness. So yeah, we've been on 3 different platforms, YouTube, Twitch, and Odyssey. I'll be back. Remember, there will be a Sunday live stream. That one doesn't go on Twitch because I can't get the Twitch bits yet because I haven't done the thing for partnership or whatever the fuck it is. I'll do that at some point. So, you know. And by the way, to all the trolls, thank you for showing up. That is more entertaining, I would say. Josh in Jesus on Twitter. Yes, if she can DM me on Twitter, that is usually easiest. Because I use my email for more personal stuff, not really for business. I've thought about setting up another one, but yeah, that would be great. So yeah, we're ending our Biden chat here. That's about all. Peace out.